Hello to all the listeners of Danish Pinay podcast. Our topic for today is about Mama's Boy. I just recently read a post in my group in Pinoy Info about this anonymous member who's asking for advice about her mother-in-law. She said she cannot take it anymore. I think it's a cultural difference. Even though she don't have any problem with her husband, but she just cannot take her mother-in-law anymore. Problem is they're living in the same roof. So that's a bit that's more difficult than if you're separated. That's why she wished to move out because of her mother-in-law. It's two different culture, but I think wherever in the world, you will always find these guys who's adult, grown up, but still clingy to their mom. I just remember someone whom I had a relationship with was also mama's boy, you know, but I'm not going to uh, mention any more about it. But in the recent news about Richard Gutierrez, a celebrity in the Philippines, Richard Gutierrez and his um wife, or maybe I'm not sure if they're still married or if they're already divorced, or but they're not together. The issue came out like a rumor, but the mother-in-law is starting to kind of blurt out the issue about the two. That she's saying that it's her son who's working hard, and then the wife is the one using the money, or spending all something like that. I think I have a son, and I feel like we're very close to each other, and I feel like if I'm going to say something, I feel like my son always take my side. So I could already see that he's very close connected to me as a mom. I think that's very normal to all most of the son, that they are very close to connected to their mom. Like the girls are close most of the time, close to their dad, and the son are close to their mom. But I think when your son reach adulthood and have their own family, I think it's best to just don't if your son asks for your advice, be a parent for both, not just for your son, but for your daughter-in-law, especially when they are already married. Don't be the one causing the two to be more separated and be more fallout of the marriage. Be there to guide them and support them and advise them how they're going to fix their relationship. Give a mother advice that is going to help the issue, not add more to the fuel. Because just think about it. If your son and his wife got divorced or annulment or separated, it's also your son who's going to suffer. But of course, it's case to case basis, but weigh it. Don't be like the person who's going to tell your son that, oh, leave her, she's not good enough. Because I feel like with Annabelle Rama, I don't know her personally, but I felt like knowing her in the limelight, or her personality from the screen, that I think she always meddle with her um, kids relationship. For example, with Rufa, and now with Richard Gutierrez. I feel like if you kept on doing that, how are your kids going to have a good relationship if you always, like, they're adult, they could think for themselves. If they ask you for advice or help, then it's okay. But don't add some more, don't fuel, don't, um be fair, and don't be just like, I feel like I know that you supposed to take your son or your kid's side, but still I feel like it could also be the cause for divorce and for the other to give up instead of you know like be there, support your son, support your daughter-in-law, and try to see how are they, what is it that they need in the relationship. I think that's the best way to be a mother-in-law. Feel like being mother-in-law is like have a kind of bad connotation about, you know, like that the yeah, it's always like have a conflict between the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law, you know. It's like how can you not treat this person like your own daughter, how you're going to treat your own daughter. But I'm not saying that not all mother-in-laws are like that, because I had good mother-in-law. I have a good mother-in-law. Of course, we're not super close like my mother, but still, at least I know that she care for me, and I know that you know she's happy that you know I care for her son. I think that's what we have to think, that when we give away our son to a marriage, it's not just the dad, you know, but it's also this. I mean, it's not just the daughter that's give away her his daughter. You know, I'm thinking about the dad and the daughter, but also the mother and the son. You also give your son, you know, to the marriage or to the new wife or to the wife. We have to try as much as possible, be the best mom for both of them, give them a good advice, and don't, you know, when they have fight, you know, it's better to be in the middle, be neutral, and don't add more. I feel like at the end it's your son who's going to and be unhappy because of the if they lose someone they love, or if they ended up in a bad relationship, or if they ended up divorcing this person because of just one or two conflict that they didn't manage to resolve because you added the fuel to it. Then I feel like at the end they're the one losing, and also your grandkids. You know, if just think about if the your son and your daughter-in-law separated, and they if they have kids, then also about the kids, you know, because they're also going to end up being unhappy living in the two, you know, two family, or maybe they're going to have conflict and you know more and more and more and more. So before you get married, before it's like you just want to get to know the person you're marrying, right? But I think nowadays it's also smart to know the family that you're marrying while you're in relationship. See how close they are, what kind of characters they have, because it could affect in your marriage or in your family life as well, you know, because this is your soon to be husband or wife first family. How is how is he brought up? How was he brought up as a kid, or how's his relationship with his mom, you know, or with his family? Same with the female also, but our topic is mama's boy. So what are the signs? What are the signs of mama's boy? Let me just ask. I'll ask ChatGPT about how to find out if the guy is mama's boy. What are the signs? So, here are the five signs that the guy is mama's boy according to ChatGPT. Number one is frequent communication. A person who is close to their mother may communicate with her frequently, either through calls, text, or visits. So, if he texts more his mom than you, then you know he's a mama's boy. Number two, dependency. If the individual relies heavily on their mother for decision making, emotional support, or daily tasks, it could be a sign of being a mama's boy. Yes. So, you know, you before they marry you or whatever, or if they're sick, instead of asking you, they will ask their mom. Or if, you know, so, or the cooking advice, they also ask their mom, you know. So it's everything. Overly protective mother. A close relationship might be evident if the mother is overly involved in the person's life, such as making decisions for them or being excessively protective. So I think that's also one thing. If you're going to marry a guy, see how their mom is. If they're overly protective of their son, so that's also a sign that the son is, or the guy you're marrying is a mama's boy. Number five, emotional bond. Observing the emotional bond between the person and their mother can be telling. Expressions of affection, frequent mentions, or strong emotional reactions may indicate a close relationship. So it is different from culture to culture. So you have to also think about that. How, what is the normal relationship between mother and son in this country or in this culture, you know? So that's also how you have to think about it. But yeah, it's hard to marry a mama's boy, because I feel like even if you're already married, instead of relying on you or asking you, they will ask their mom. For example, if it's about decision making about that concerns both of you, but instead of asking you as a wife, he will ask his mom. You know, that's not good. Because mama's boy, remember, especially when you're adult, I mean, it's understood as a young guy or as a young kid, but when you reach adulthood, you have to kind of little bit, especially if you're in a relationship or if you're married, try to consider the girl you have relationship with, or your wife. How do they feel if you constantly asking your mom for advice, asking your mom for when you're making decision. So we have to think about that, because that's really turn off for a girl to be in a relationship with the mama's boy. But I'm saying it's good that if the guy respects their mom, that's good. There's nothing wrong about it. It's really good, but don't be too clingy to your mom when you're an adult guy, especially if you're already married, right? Okay. Bye, guys.